crew, act localist. I almost did this as a drive time dialectic, but I chose this instead. You probably hear the flag in the background, but I'm still at the Olmsted County Courthouse Government Center. I went to Trooper Roper's arraignment this morning. I'm pissed. But if this is your first time stopping by the channel because of the topic, please share it out. Make sure this goes far and wide. Had the opportunity to interact with some of the local media, and they're not going to be sharing any of this until at least 11 or 12 this afternoon, right before 11 this morning and 12 this afternoon. Thanks for stopping by. Like the video, share the video, comment on the video, subscribe if you haven't, and if you appreciate my content, please join as a channel member. If I sound like I'm off my game, I'm battling a lot of emotions right now. I haven't been where I am right now in since basically April of 2021. I am on the grounds of where I worked for the first time in over 3 years. And it was surreal for me to come in and go through courtroom screening and then also sit in a courtroom and watch what I saw today. I want to give everybody the reminder that Trooper Shane Roper on May 18th did, with willful negligence, murder Olivia Flores in Rochester, Minnesota. And it was turned over to Rochester, Minnesota Police Department for an investigation. It took them 2 months to do their investigation, and that was then turned over to the Olmsted County Attorney, who then took his sweet time before announcing that he would be charging Roper. And that was basically the middle of July. And so here we are on August 29th, Thursday morning, and Roper made his very first court appearance, an arraignment, basically. And it was in front of Judge Daly. And if you're interested, the case file is 55CR244513. I would encourage you guys to look this up, even if you're not from Minnesota. But that's case file 55CR244513. He waived his right to reading of the charging document. He did not speak. Roper did appear, obviously. He did not speak. He didn't say a word. He was surrounded by the victims and victim families. It was a farce. I'm just going to be honest with you. It was a farce. Olmsted County Attorney Mark Ostrom should have been representing the prosecution in this. He should have been in that courtroom. Instead, he sent one of his underlings. And, you know, as Reese is saying, they scheduled a settlement hearing in November, November 21st at 1 p.m. is a settlement. And then they scheduled trial. Pre-trial is for, are you ready for this, March? Like I told you guys, I'm way off. I am so pissed off right now. Pre-trial is March 25th. Jury trial starts on March 31st. So Trooper Shane Roper, and we're not done, Trooper Shane Roper murders a young girl by driving like an ass and doesn't go to trial until March 31st. Almost a year after he murdered this young lady. And where is Trooper Shane Roper right now? You might ask, is Trooper Shane Roper in that right now? Is he in that adult detention center? Is that where Trooper Roper is right now? Nope. Is he anywhere in the law enforcement center right now? Nope. Trooper Roper is not in the law enforcement center. Trooper Roper is not sitting in the Olmsted County Adult Detention Center getting booked in for murdering Olivia Flores. Judge Daly let him go. The Honorable Judge Daly let him go. The state asked for a $100,000 bond for a murderer. Minnesota State Patrol Trooper Shane Roper murdered Olivia Flores, and the state asked for a $100,000 bond. Unconditional bond. And asked that he be not allowed to drive. But that was already taken care of because they canceled. They suspended his driver's license, so he can't drive anyway, right? And the judge agreed that that's a really good decision that he not be allowed to drive. But then allowed him to be released on his own recognizance up there in that building in courtroom 5B. Judge Daly let a murderous thug who wore a badge and drove like an ass and murdered a young lady let him go free with the condition that he not drive without insurance, and that he not contact the victims or their families. That's it. Trooper Roper is out on his own recognizance, still hasn't been booked in, still doesn't have a mug shot, still hasn't had to put on handcuffs. See, this place is supposed to be a place of justice, right? That's what we hear all the time. This is the courthouse. This is where justice happens. But Trooper Roper murders a girl, and he's still getting a paycheck. He goes up into that courtroom up there, doesn't say a word. The judge has to enter the not guilty plea for him, and Trooper Roper gets to walk free. Trooper Roper gets to go home. Trooper Roper gets to go and spend between now and March 25th and March 31st, he gets to go about his life. He gets to go and have his Thanksgiving, and he gets to go and have his Christmas, and he gets to go and have his other celebrations. No other conditions, just don't drive, Trooper Roper. Keep drawing your paycheck, Trooper Roper. I mean, let that sink in. If this had been anybody else, you would have lost your job. If you did something like this while you were working, your employer would have terminated you, and they would have not cared what your union said. You would have been terminated. But no, not Trooper Roper. Where's Trooper Roper? He's not here. There are people sitting in that building right now who got busted for personal use of methamphetamine. And it's illegal in Minnesota. I understand that. But there's people sitting in that building right now who have no chance of getting out, who are missing their kids and missing their families, while a murderous thug who wore a badge, who still technically gets to wear a badge, he's on paid administrative leave, and I said to somebody that I used to work with today, I hadn't seen him for a while, and he was genuinely one of the decent guys. He was there from the day I started. And I said, you know, Bill, I'll just make up a name, I know you well enough to know that if it had been you dealing with him, he would never have had the opportunity to kill a young girl. because you would not have let him keep his job after the first few accidents. And let's address that. So, like, yeah, I'm pissed off that Judge Daly let a murderous thug walk free today. No bond. Don't drive. Remain law-abiding. I mean, the guy couldn't even remain law-abiding while he was in uniform. But you know who wasn't in that courtroom today? Minnesota State Patrol wasn't in that courtroom. The Minnesota State Patrol didn't have anything to say. They didn't have to come down here. They didn't have to make a plea or enter a plea. The Minnesota State Patrol is guilty of this too. The Minnesota State Patrol created this environment that allowed Trooper Roper to do what he did. See, I still have friends in law enforcement. I have family in law enforcement. People that I care about, people that I respect, people that I love, people that I would consider, friendly acquaintances. But don't ever let anybody, no matter what your relationship with them is, no matter what the nature of that your interactions with them are, don't ever let anybody tell you that law enforcement doesn't get special treatment. If I had murdered Olivia Flores on May 18th in a car accident the way that Roper did, I would have been in jail already. But not Trooper Roper. Minnesota State Patrol has a lot of explaining to do. They have a lot of answering to do, but they're not going to have to explain. They're not going to have to answer. I mean, people, I don't even, I should probably get ready to wrap this up, but I need to vent this out. This is just, where were the people today? I hear so much. I hear people talk so damn often about how much they want justice and they want everybody held accountable. But nobody in Rochester could be bothered to show up for the court date of a young brown girl who was murdered in a car by a cop. And that's what they're counting on. That's what Roper's defense team is counting on. And that, quite frankly, is what Mark Ostrom is counting on. Mark Ostrom is counting on the people of this town forgetting that Olivia Flores was murdered in this town, and they let the trooper walk out of court today. And as somebody said in the chat, there's already a settlement conference scheduled. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I guarantee you that there is going to be a plea deal made. How did Roper not get put in handcuffs and frog marched, perp walked into the elevators and down into the secure facility today? And I honestly, I don't blame the Olmsted County Court staff for this. I don't blame the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office for this. As much as I dislike Kevin Torgerson, this is not his fault. This is not the fault of the security staff. This is the fault of a corrupt system. I need you guys to help me get this out, because not enough of people watch my channel. But for the love of God, I need people up here. I have video after video after video after video after video of law enforcement officials in this area driving exactly the same way that Trooper Roper did. I have a user submitted video that I'm going to be putting together and putting it up as a short of a Mower County deputy just yesterday, miles and miles and miles away from their area of responsibility, driving down the highway at speeds of over 80 miles an hour. This is not just Trooper Roper. This is the entire system. It's this damn... It's this damn pampered, privileged perspective that they have, that they could do whatever they want. And you want to know why they think they can do whatever they want? Because Trooper Roper walked out of court today a free man. How in the blue blazes do you murder an 18-year-old girl and not get a bond of $1 million? How do you not get sent down into a detention center to get booked in? I've seen people get booked into this facility for not showing ID to cops when they tell them to. This is where we're supposed to go for justice, right? Like, look where I'm standing. Look up there. You see that? This is where we're supposed to go for justice. And you don't want to come over here and scream.
I didn't want to.
You're fine. Excuse me. Hi.
Take
care of yourself. But this is the place we're supposed to go. I'm standing underneath the American flag. In front of what is supposed to be the center of justice in the United States. And you want to know how there is no justice? Or why I could sit here and say there is no justice? Well, that's not true. It's a two-tiered system. There's injustice for us and special treatment for people like Trooper Roper. If you guys watch the rest of my content or not, if this is the only thing that you watch, that's fine. I appreciate it. If you never come back to my channel, I understand that too. I mean, there's so many more entertaining people out there. I mean, we got NC Tyrant Hunter. Like NC Tyrant Hunter has thank you, by the way. I'm humbled that you're here because I watch your stuff all the time. But I mean, you got Lackluster, you've got Here's the Deal, you know, with Brian. There are so many other people that could be talking about this. So if you would just share this video. I give up. For fuck's sakes, I give up. This place should have been crowded. There should have been hundreds of people out here today. There should have been hundreds of people out here holding signs saying justice for Olivia. Instead, what we got was a mommy judge who treated Trooper Roper like he was some poor put upon individual and gave him a little slap on the hand and told him, don't drive. Oh yeah, by the way, you can't drive already. Don't drive without insurance. Don't have contact with the family. Remain law-abiding and you can go about your life. I'll point it out to you one more time. I spent almost 13 years working inside of that facility, and I saw people locked up for piddly things. Piddly things I saw them locked up for. I watched people's lives get ruined because they had the audacity to get caught with a baggie of marijuana. I watched Mark Ostrom try to ruin the life of a young man named Alex Weiss who shot somebody in self-defense. In self-defense. They tried him twice and lost. Mark Ostrom couldn't do a damn thing to try and bring justice for Olivia Flores today. Her parents were here and her school classmates were here. I got to talk to her brother off camera, and I talked to her parents as they went by off camera. And that's the other aspect, the human interest side of this, is could you imagine sitting in that courtroom today and having to look at the back in the face of the man who took your young 18-year-old daughter's life just weeks before her graduation, before she launches out into her life to go and start to live life. And you have to sit there and look at him. You have to sit there and watch him not even so much as open his mouth to say, not guilty. You have to watch that, and all of your friends are with you, and you're watching all of that, and he gets to get up and walk out of the room free. Free, for fuck's sakes. How do you ever trust a system? How do you ever expect anybody to ever trust law enforcement and the justice system ever again? How many people have sat up there and had the book thrown at them and made to go sit in the detention center until a bondsman could come get them out for far less crime? Just one more time. On May 18th, Trooper Shane Roper did with willful negligence and lack of concern and compassion for the community that he is paid to serve, murdered Olivia Flores with depraved indifference. And the Minnesota State Patrol created the monster that is Trooper Shane Roper by allowing him to continue to keep his job after demonstrating on numerous occasions that he was unsafe behind the wheel of a cruiser. 4 different times he had accidents that were completely 100% a result of his negligent and aggressive and asinine privileged driving. And all it took was for him to kill somebody before he finally got fired. No, wait, he didn't get fired. Nope. Shane Roper still has his job. Shane Roper is still getting paid. Shane Roper is still free. Shane Roper is still out until he goes to trial. How would anybody dare have the balls to tell me that there isn't a 2-tier justice system in the United States anymore? I what do you do? I mean, why? Why even bother even arguing it anymore? Why why bother even trying to make an argument that there's justice anymore? I mean, we make a lot of comments about rules for thee, but not for me. But it's not even that. Like, I don't even know what to call it anymore. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And if you don't, would you please share this out? Please help this get into the hands of somebody that might pay attention to it. Can you help me bring some light to this? Unconditional bond of $100,000 with a conditional released on his own recognizance. Released on his own recognizance with a direct order from the judge to not drive and not have contact with the family. And he doesn't have to come back to court now until November for a settlement hearing. And pre-trial is on March 25th. And Olivia Flores will still be in the ground. And her family will still be missing her. And her family will still be suffering every day. But I'm supposed to believe that the system works. The system doesn't work. And it's been a long time since it has. I don't know what else to say. Please help me get this out. Until next time, Sic Semper Tyrannis.